a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win, making you more street smart as an informed consumer. And we want to help you hang on to more of your money. You know, we all work hard for our money. So we're going to talk with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group here, about strategy around gifting. We've got Mark in the house. Jason Mears as well. What's going on in the insurance market? When is it going to turn around? What about flood zones and what's happening in the condo market as well? We're going to talk with Jason Mears. He's our insurance expert contributor, property casualty, all things property casualty, real estate insurance as well, coming up here on today's show. And also wanted to get to a clip about inflation, that is, and homelessness. Homelessness has reached record highs since numbers have been started to be recorded. This latest data coming out from HUD, the Housing and Urban Development, homelessness reached 12% up from last year to 653 homeless people, 53,000 homeless people, highest ever recorded numbers. Coming up here, we're going to talk about that story and more. Quick shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brio Tuscan Grill over at the International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful service, very delicious meals, Italian-inspired recipes. And say hello to Chef Oscar Ramirez and also Joey over there, the general manager. Let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you and ask him about that free appetizer they said right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brio Tuscan Grill, restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And as you know, my wife Lindsay and I own a top 100 ranked real estate team. We're up 12% year over year, or on this year, and the market's down 8%. So we like to feature our listings, part of our strategy to help sellers sell faster for more money. 2907 North Florida Avenue. We've got a beautiful property. It's a commercial opportunity here in Tampa Bay, in Tampa at 2907 North Florida Avenue. We've got $2.89 million asking price on this property, and it is a large listing. You've got ample parking spaces, large building. It's got that industrial feel, so it could be a really cool, multiple uses for this. You could have storage, of course. You could have some type of a retail facility there. You got offices up front on this building at 2907 North Florida Avenue in Tampa. You also have built-in rental income. You have a building that's being currently occupied by a tenant, renting out for about $6,500 a month. So a great commercial listing from the Platinum MVP team, 2907 North Florida Avenue there in Tampa. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, welcome back, Mark Haye.
Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
That's right. That's right. We're coming up on that time here, man. Things are great. Can't believe it's the end of the year already, and
it blows my mind. I can't believe it's already going to be 2024.
Yeah.
You know, it's wild. But I mean, 2023 is a good year, and I can't complain about it. You know, but it's always bittersweet when you end something and start something. So
yeah,
it's crazy that it's just come this fast, and Christmas is just a couple days away.
It is. It's really amazing. And talk to me about this strategy. I love this strategy. You always have great information for our listeners. We get lots of compliments from our audience out there. It's always my pleasure, too, to hear from the hotline. If you want to reach out to the show hotline, 727-263-3707. You can call or text that line. Any questions you have, 727-263-3707. And, of course, consumerqb.com. But, Mark, it makes my day when I hear, have conversations with folks out there in the community and get recognized every now and then about, hey, I've heard the show and I like Mark Haye and get, I like some of the tips. So
yeah, absolutely.
let's
I appreciate that. Yeah, so I figured since it's the holidays, we'll talk about gifting. There's some different things that we can do gifting-wise, that necessarily not a deduction, but a gift. And all that means is when you give that money, nobody owes any taxes.
Right.
So right now the gifting is $17,000 this year. So, for example, you and your wife could each give $17,000 to your kids if you wanted to, and next year it goes up to $18,000. And certainly you could do that, and it goes tax-free to basically anybody without having to pay taxes. Now, what a lot of people do, grandparents will gift monies to kids or grandkids, and again, you can do $17,000 right now to each kid, grandkid. But what they do is instead of just giving them cash, they'll put it in a wealth creation account, and all that is overfunded life insurance policies. And they do that. Let's just use a grandparent and a grandkid. Grandkid would be the insured. The grandparent is the owner, and they gift that money whatever that may be, 10,000, 7, doesn't matter, goes into that contract, and in that contract, they get all the benefits of tax deferral, tax-free, life insurance, long-term care. They get money, interest on the money, even if they spend it. So it's a really good vessel to put money into. And since no one paid taxes on it, it accumulates tax-free and comes out tax-free. So don't take something that's not been taxed and putting in something that's going to be taxed later, is my point. You could do a Roth IRA for kids, but they got to show some kind of earned income. Whereas if you do the overfunded life insurance policy, or I call wealth creation, you don't have to show income, so you can do that and stuff the money in the policy instead of just putting it in the bank. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have a lot of grandparents, not a lot, but I have several grandparents that set this up for their kids years ago, or grandkids, and they've passed since then, the grandparents. But every Christmas around this time, these grandkids get dividend checks of $6,000, $10,000 from these policies that help pay for Christmas gifts, traveling, whatever it may be for their family. And so if you're looking to leave a legacy to family members, it's a really good way to give the money to somebody tax-free without having any kind of tax implications. Give them a policy that can actually do something for them, and at the same time, every single year when they're getting a check for $6,000 in their mailbox at Christmas time, they're thinking of the grandparents every single year.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, we would love to have the grandparents here. Obviously, no one lives forever, but every single year, it's just such a good reminder, that the grandparents loved you. They set this up for you guys. They wanted you to have this money every year come to you around this time, so you would think about it and enjoy your Christmas with your kids.
Right.
So
Smart.
it's a really good way to just leave money. At the same time,
it's
it's a plan for college, because all the monies that are in that contract do not go on grant applications. So when these grandkids or kids go to apply for school, they can apply for grants. That stays off the grant applications, and they get the grants and keep all the money that the grandparents wanted them to have.
Right.
Whereas if you put it into a bank account or you put it into a 529 plan or Florida prepaid, that goes on grant applications and it eliminates that grant. So now you got to spend your money. You get my point.
Yeah, you're showing money. In essence, you're playing a pretty cool game of Texas Hold'em. Right? You got the cards, but you're not showing all your aces. You got those aces back.
Yeah, you got it. And so it allows them to go get college grants, get all that funding, keep all your money. At the same time, you can use it for college, or maybe you don't go to college and you use it to start a business or start a family and buy a house, etc. But it's just a really good vehicle to put gifting into.
Right.
Instead of just handing it over in bank accounts and they go blow it on whatever they want to blow it on, but it's a lasting legacy, for them to do that. Another strategy that we use for gifting is charities. If you own a business, or anybody can donate to a charity, get a deduction. But we circle around government retirement plans, like an IRA, 401k, stuff like that, because that's all taxable to you. It's all taxable to an individual if you leave it to them, as a beneficiary. And so what we do a lot of times is we'll donate IRA, 401k monies to charities as a gifting around this time, because they get it tax-free. Now if you're 70 and a half and older, you can actually take $100,000 a year from your retirement plans, IRA, 401ks, and just gift them every single year to a church or a charity, and they get it all tax-free, and you get that deduction as a charitable gift. So my whole point is, if you got IRA monies or 401k monies that necessarily you don't need, maybe you've done some good planning, we don't need all this money inside this account, gift that to a charity or a school so they get it all tax-free. So essentially what would be taxable becomes tax-free. We would like to stop tipping the IRS, which we talk about all the time. It's just one way to do it. If you look at an estate plan and you say, okay, we got $2 million of IRA 401k monies, and we have 3 kids, we like to leave it to our kids. I say, okay, so you're going to leave a third, a third, a third. Yeah, we're going to leave a third. Okay, so you think they're going to get $700,000 a piece, right around there. Yeah. Well, the IRS is taking $900. So they're taking 40% off the top.
Wow.
And so the kids are now going to split $1.1 million, which is roughly, $350,000 a piece. Your biggest beneficiary is the IRS as of right now.
Right.
So that's why we say donate that IRA, gift it to a charity, a church, a museum, or several different causes. They get the $2 million tax-free, and leave the kids the life insurance or the stocks or the real estate, so they get that cost basis step up. They get the life insurance tax-free. And so now all of a sudden that whole estate that would be taxable became tax-free, and all we did was give the IRA that would be taxable to people to churches, charities, etc., and now you pay zero in estate taxes.
Go back to what you said about cost basis step up.
Yeah, so another example for gifting. So let's say you own a $10,000 stock, like Amazon stock, okay? And you want to give that $10,000 to your kid, whatever you want to do. One way you do it is you could sell the stock and pay a 20% capital gain, which is $2,000, and you would leave them $8,000. Or you can gift that stock, okay? So if you said, I own that stock, I'm not going to sell it, but I'm going to give it to Brandon Rhymes, okay? Brandon would then take that stock at $10,000. Nobody pays any taxes, and you walk with that stock. Now, as it grows, obviously, and you start spending it, or you would owe taxes on any kind of gains, but that gift transfers right to you without having to incur any kind of capital gains for anybody. And so instead of selling the stock and giving cash, just transfer the stock.
Got it.
And that's a way of gifting.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people that have a large portfolio and maybe they don't want all that money in there anymore and they want to start helping out kids. Just we gift the stock to kids, etc. They do what they want at that point, but again, we avoided a capital gains tax on that by gifting it.
Yeah.
So that's one way to do it. Just gift it.
Yeah, it says smart money moves here. We're talking with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group, Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the program, and also a published author. He's got his book out, 0%, the retirement. What was the title?
0%. Yep, tax-free retirement. That's just putting you into a tax-free tax bracket in retirement, taking advantage of all the codes that we have, standard deductions, using different things that we can use like Roth IRA, 401ks, and life insurance for tax-free income. Ultimately making Social Security tax-free if we do it correctly, So we stick to the code. We want to do everything legally and ethically, but these are just ideas of how we can gift money without incurring a tax bill for anybody, and then making something, cash into something that's a big wealth creation, much like the Rockefellers did. Yep. The Rockefellers, all they did was everybody got permanent life insurance, and when they die, it goes back into the trust, and now they're their own bank. They don't need to go to a bank because inside their trust is millions and millions of dollars that are just sitting there. And what they do is if somebody wants to go buy a home, the Rockefeller family says, I want to buy a home for $1 million. They go to the trust and say, we need a mortgage for 30 years. The trust writes in the mortgage. They pay the trust the interest instead of a bank. Yep. And that's how they eliminate the big banks and these financial institutions.
Right.
Because they did generational planning and gifting into overfunded life insurance, using the cash value to leverage into other things. And on your demise, it just goes back into the trust, replenishes it, and everybody uses it as their banking system now. Yeah. And that's generational. I mean, everybody can do it. You don't need to start off with millions. You can buy your net worth, by having life insurance. Yeah. And that just certainly goes back into the trust.
It's amazing. Yeah. The longer term you can think, it's so much better. And there's, it's proven that way too. Because if you think of the exact opposite of that, it's like the short term, it's like the drunkard or the drug addict, right? They're just looking for that next fix, So two extremes, right? There's long-term planning. You see that with corporations and family trust. But the exact opposite of that is true too. The people that are in the worst positions in our civilization are the people that don't take the time to plan, or they don't have the resources, because they've been in that common pitfall. We got to take a quick break there. More with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Coming up, I want to talk about this HUD story. It's interesting and it's sad at the same time. The record numbers of homelessness that has been reached in this country, the greatest country on the planet, the most wealthy country on the planet. Somehow we can't figure this one out. 653,000 throughout the United States, and a lot of it's veterans as well. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite. Sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group in the house. Homelessness, HUD, we're going to talk about that story here in just a moment. A quick shout out to Lawn Anglers. If you're looking for a great landscaping company here in Tampa Bay, Lawn Anglers is who I use. They do a great job. This is Adam Long and his team for lawn maintenance, landscaping, mulching, tree trimming, and more. Lawn Anglers. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Give us a call. We'll put you in touch as well if you'd like. All of our info is at consumerqb.com. You can get the phone number at consumerqb.com. Consumer Quarterback Show here. Over 10 years on air now, helping sellers maximize the exposure. We got a hot new listing in Trinity here at 1846 Cameron Court in Trinity, Florida. This is a beautiful home, gorgeous property, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 3155 square feet, 0.17 acre. You have a kitchen that has soft close cabinets, granite countertops, tile backsplash, 3-car garage, solar on the roof, gorgeous home, pavers, and just a beautiful layout. It looks so awesome in there. You got water view in the back, conservation there, nice back porch sitting going on at that home at Cameron Court in Trinity. Another great listing of ours. 7532 Yachtsman Drive in Hudson. Yachtsman Drive in Hudson. Waterfront, bay access. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis. Enjoy that Florida lifestyle to the fullest. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1632 square feet. It's on a canal that leads out to the Gulf of Mexico. Brand new kitchen, granite countertops, top of the line, stainless steel appliances, and more over at 7532 Yachtsman Drive in Hudson, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it there.
All right, so we'll play this clip. I'm going to get Mark's opinion on it. You know, here we are in the richest country in the world. There's such an issue still with this homelessness. You got inflation, record inflation, but I'm going to play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Amid persistent inflation and skyrocketing housing costs, a new federal report shows that more Americans are homeless today than at any point on record.
So over the weekend, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, released an annual report showing that homelessness increased by a stunning 12% last year. There are now around 653,000 Americans experiencing homelessness. That's the highest number since record-keeping began back in 2007.
Wow.
Now, for context, those numbers fell significantly from 2012 to 2018 and held steady over the last few years before exploding in 2022, the last year we have data, wiping out all of the previous gains. According to HUD, about 60% of the homeless were in shelters on a given night.
So, yeah, it's pretty sad news, man. You got, all these people out there, a lot of veterans. You have record numbers. You know what else you have record numbers of? Not only inflation, cost of food, cost of automobile. You also have record number of hedge funds buying up people's homes. So when did it become okay for these big buying groups to come through and just buy up single-family homes, townhomes, condos? Doesn't matter. They're buying. And unfortunately, the loser of that, Mark, is the middle income, the low to middle income homeowners that are just trying to get their start. Many times veterans, many times first-time buyers. Pretty sad situation.
It is a sad situation. And one thing I like to see, though, when they show that study is I like to see how many are illegal immigrants that came here illegally.
That's
are they counting that? Because our floodgates have been open now.
Exactly.
For a few years. So yeah, it's up 12%. I'm surprised not more than that if that's counted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I think to that point, from what I've seen, some of that stuff is not taken into account because it's short-term hotels. Remember how they're kicking veterans out of hotel rooms, moving these illegals into those hotel rooms? It just really pisses
so
me
I'd
off.
like to see that benefit, that percentage. I also want to see like what percentage of the people that are homeless want to be homeless,
right?
Because there are people that want to be homeless in America. We do have a lot of programs for homeless people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, where we have soup kitchens and a place where they can sleep, stuff like that. I get it, but what percentage chose to be homeless or want to be homeless? Because a lot of times you help them, they don't want
it's drug
any help.
It's drug related too, because they'll go right back into those drug related,
and that's a shame.
And there's also people that want to go back into prison because they just feel better in prison.
Well, yeah, you come institutionalized. You don't want to come back out into the real world and experience what it is. It depends how long you've been there. Another thing that I would like to see on that too is how many people didn't do what they were supposed to do when they were kids and dropped out of school and didn't listen to their parents, ran away, got messed up with the wrong people, got with the wrong crowd. How many of those people too? Because there are consequences.
Single parent households. Yeah, that's the number one contributor. Especially even Barack Obama mentioned it about African Americans. It's one of the main problems with many. Any family. I hate to break it down into color, but unfortunately that's what our society does sometimes. But yeah, if you look at the father figure being absent, you have no. Or very limited authority. You have very limited discipline. So therefore, the kids know, I can run all over mom. What's she really going to do?
Yeah, and it's a shame when you don't have the male figure in the house.
Yeah,
it's a shame. And then you have these women that are trying to raise boys into men, and it's just different. Or if a dad is raising his daughter without the mom, it's just different.
Yeah.
You got to have both, and it takes a village to raise a kid, or a family. And so some of those statistics, when I hear it, I get it. But how much of it is, illegals or choice or whatever that may be?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it is a problem with these companies going in and buying up all this real estate because all they're doing is just put it in their portfolio. They don't really care about the price. They're just going to sit on it and just wait, And so they come in with cash. And like you said, a veteran, if they're going to get a VA loan, it takes time. Whereas someone comes in like a hedge fund and just, here's cash, they're going to take the cash and close quick. And so
it really limits the options for the seller because it's like, close in 2 weeks. Yeah, sure. I can't take the risk because I've got to get to my next contract. I've already got a job transfer, et cetera. But yeah, that's a good point you make too. I mean, this one really it could be talked about a lot. But when you have the housing and urban development putting out record number, 653,000 Americans. By the way, the biggest state that clip goes on to talk about states breakdowns: California, New York. Yeah, of course, the normal.
It's a shame. And then meanwhile, we're sending $200 billion overseas to Ukraine and everything else, and we can't manage our own. And so I always just again, we talk about Donald Trump, but I liked his mantra of America first, everybody second.
Yeah,
what I mean? Let's invest in ourselves, our people. Veterans are big. There's no veteran that should be on the street homeless, unless they want to be there. But there's no reason that they should be there.
Should almost be zero tolerance. By the way, a big story: US Steel being bought by a foreign company. I think it's a Japanese company. 30 seconds. Back to you.
Yep. Reach out to me anytime you want. 727-804-7220. Be happy to talk about gifting for anybody and how to do that in the best tax advantage way.
Yep, I love it. All right, Mark Haye. You can find him online as well. He's got his YouTube channel out there, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, and Mark's contact information will be there on that site as well. So, good stuff. Check out the book as well. Where can they get the book, Mark?
Amazon.com. Just type in my name, Mark P. Haye.
Mark P. Haye, and great talking with you again, catching up.
Absolutely. And, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank
absolutely.
You.
All right, we're taking a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to shift gears and talk insurance with Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote. What's going on in the insurance market? What are we gearing up to see in 2024? And also flood insurance here coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.